Semper Fi Airsofters, and welcome to the day. I'm Curtis.
And I'm Sean.
And we are Foxtrot Defense Airsoft on our very first episode of After Action Reviews.
It's going to be interesting to see how this goes, huh?
It is, because we just got back from the battle at Six Flags held by Veterans for Airsoft.
Shout out to big old Freddie on that one.
Shout out to Freddie, most definitely. We got two different views of the game that we can discuss today.
Yep.
We got the admin, which I was the admin.
And the player.
And the player side, so.
But real quick, we want to do one big shout out to our now premier BB sponsor,
Striker Industries.
Thank you guys for what you guys have done. Thank you for what you're doing.
And also our partners over at Airsoft Network. Anytime you guys want to watch us, if you can't be on YouTube, or if you just want to watch Airsoft, go to Airsoft Network. Mm-hmm. You can download it on iOS, Android, even on Roku TV.
And to get back onto that, we will be kicking off Spotify before the end of the year.
We will. Once we get a little bit more follower count to be able to push it over to Spotify, we will be moving over to Spotify.
Absolutely. So to jump into this, let's go from the fact that it was hot and muggy and just dreadfully awful weather-wise, but
the weather was great. It was sunny, 95, and hotter than crap.
Yeah.
No clouds in the sky for 3 days straight.
Yeah. Rain just the week before.
It did. They had a storm pass through, so there was some lovely water standing on the field in certain areas, but for the most part, where most players stayed, it was dry. I mean, it was a great time. So let's start from Friday. Let's talk about Friday. Check in and Chrono.
Yeah, Chrono for you is pretty easy, right?
I got to go in first.
You did. I will say that I was probably like the first 7 because I thought smart about it. It's like, okay,
got to go early.
Let me jump in.
Got to go early.
And then it was, bam, through 2-3 hours later.
2-3 hours standing there waiting.
Yeah.
And
somebody's still, I think, waiting for that Chrono line to finish.
Probably somebody is standing there waiting on Chrono. I know the gates opened at noon, and people flooded in.
Yeah, 10 guns.
It was people everywhere. We had 4 guys, four admins standing at the gate, working the gate to get people in to do 4 cars at a time, and it still took us 2 hours just to finish the initial line of people.
Yeah, not including anybody else that fell in the next day.
Yeah, so I mean, big shout out to Veterans for Airsoft putting on an amazing event.
B3 for the Chronos.
Over 600 players.
Yeah, and I'm glad that he did it the way he did, and he didn't bring it into a milsim.
Yeah, he broke it down into 4 zones to make it an experience for everybody.
Yeah.
You didn't have to spawn in one certain point the entire time.
Exactly. If you wanted to go
so
through
you had 2 zones the entire time that you could go to see different parts of the park and have a different experience the entire time you were out there.
Absolutely. And that was enjoyable.
Yeah, that's what made it so interesting, was just allowing the players to see the park before it was gone.
Mm-hmm. And if you haven't checked our last YouTube video, us as Foxtrot Defense got to walk around and see the entire video. I believe we were the first exclusive on there to post.
I'm not sure, but
I haven't seen.
There was a lot of people out there.
There was
a lot of press people, and shout out to them for being in the middle of the firefights all day long.
Yeah, combat photographers.
Combat camera. They did their job. If you guys are looking for pictures, go over to the Battle at Six Flags page. If you can't find it, go to Veterans for Airsoft on Facebook, and then find the page that way. There's a lot of great photos, great videos. Freddie got a helo, so you get to watch guys fly around in a helo.
I tell you, that was my favorite part out of all of it, being on the fact of the player side. For one, when you were hot and muggy, that helo had perfect timing, because it was like the part where you would just be like
the rotor
wash would just kick down. It was beautiful.
It was lovely.
And then like there's certain points I was on the bridge with that PKM, and you would come in after, but I swear I was swinging that thing left and right carrying that PKM. And a 30-pound gun is not something easily manageable to just carry like that. But that helo is not giving me.
No, but there's a few times I got lit up. You know, and you couldn't miss me. I was in a yellow schma and yellow camo pants, but even though I was in yellow, I still got lit up.
Absolutely.
One dude with a minigun, who I don't know who you were, but you lit me up from up above.
Oh yeah. When we ended up switching sides, I was definitely going for you at least once or twice.
Oh, that's fine. I shot back.
I know. It hurt on that bridge because you walked past. I was like, where's my pistol? There's my pistol.
Well, hey. You learned a lesson that day.
Yeah, pistols don't qualify against carbines. Got it. But no, to jump into that, I mean, what about you? I mean, we officially got forward dropped in on Saturday, and we started at yellow zone.
Yep, you started yellow.
And that was a different awakening, especially with the live fire simulation.
Oh, yeah, shout out to Echo 4 guys, you know, bringing out the blank fires and the propane fire guns. You know, that was a great aspect to the game, really getting it to, you know, just bringing the noise, really, you know, because that's all it is. They made it exciting for the guys in the helo by shooting at the helo. Yeah. You know, because they can't shoot anything out of the barrel because they have plugs in the end of every barrel. Yeah. To make it safe. Those guys were extremely safe with those weapons, and it was a great experience being around them. On my side, how was it experiencing it on your side?
Dude, I'll tell you what, that first initial contact where you started hearing them blank guns, I was not expecting it, right? I knew there would be some live fire simulation. You know, Freddie puts on something outstanding, but it was not something I was expecting.
No,
so the first initial contact where we started fighting, and Yellow Zone NPCs came into play, and all you heard was bam, 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 bam. And I'm sitting here going, what the heck is that?
Oh, yeah. So.
And then I looked, and it was him, and I'm just watching. I'm like, oh, that's awesome.
When that shotgun came out, holy cow. That thing was loud.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Mosin Nagant, it would rock your world.
Yes.
They had a lot of fun. It was great working with the Echo 4 guys. Saturday was very interesting, gameplay-wise.
Yeah.
My zone, fortunately, was the hot zone for engagements.
The majority of the day.
Yeah, so there wasn't really any dull moment in the yellow zone.
Grenades being tossing and
it was
BBs would be flying.
There was always BBs flying. And
I threw like 6 grenades. I don't know.
Hey, I threw a bunch too.
Yeah.
Friday night we got to do the I was op 4 for the VIP 100 veterans. So
yeah, let's talk about that. So Friday night the VFA got to join in on their own raid, and our nice Marine here is going to talk about it.
The veterans, I think it was like 60 or 80 of them.
Yeah.
Versus probably 25 or so of us. But we had the Echo 4 guys, and they set up pyro.
Oh, man.
They set up booby traps. And that initial contact, they had a flasher on top of a vehicle. And when they walked by, they tripped a wire that tripped it. So it exploded like 8 times.
Oh, that's so cool.
8 times, and that was a rude awakening for them because we were all hiding in the buildings down from them.
Waiting for that funnel.
We were waiting. And then they also set up 2 booby traps inside the first building that you came to in Blue Zone.
Yep.
Just across from the Chrono line. If you guys were there, you know. Underneath that awning, they set up 2 booby traps. So once they walked in through that doorway, booby traps went off.
Well, dang. That's kind of awesome.
Yeah, so, I mean, initially we held them in Blue Zone, you know, for probably 15 minutes.
That's a lot of babies flying.
There was a lot of babies flying. You know, they had to get their feet wet. And we were just letting them have it the entire time. You know, the Echo 4 guys held down one side. We held down another side.
What was it like fighting between the fact that each one of you guys all have similar training aspects, and granted, in the military, you guys do some fight on fight, but to be out as long as you have been, and then to play like you have been back in the military for the last 4 years, right? What was that like?
It's not a skill that you lose, right? It gets rusty just like any skill that you don't use. But the second you knock that rust off with some CLP and a brush, you're good to go. You're moving, you're flowing, it comes back to you. And that's what I love about what Freddie does, is he gives that ability to veterans, right? He gives them the ability to come in and play and get back into that groove from what we missed so much.
That's pretty
And
remarkable.
then, so moving back to Friday night raid, we pushed into red zone right after. So our objective was to push them, but push back. Right? Allow them for some sort of forward momentum. We stopped it for a while, but we initially let them win. You know, we would have won.
Oh, is that what it was?
we would have won. But once we got into red zone, you know, we stationed where the bumper cars were and all the cars were in those buildings, and we waited for them. And then the mosquitoes came out.
I remember.
So we were fighting a war against the mosquitoes, waiting on them to clear up to get to us. And
dreadful.
It was very dreadful. That's a narrow way to shoot right there where we were at. You know, it was a funnel, really, for them. You know, we were out in the open, essentially, and they got funneled into us. So it was a great spot for that type of ambush, because the second they rounded that corner on red zone, it was straight funneled right into the wide open for us.
That's awesome.
We got to light them up for a while, throw some grenades at them, let the Echo 4 guys shoot at them with making some noise, and then we pushed back into yellow zone, where we had to extract an HVT, which was inside the Jekyll building, where we set up all the black tarps for CQB. So we had to go in and extract him. But all the veterans, they pushed up hard that time.
Oh, they knew better.
Yeah, they pushed hard on us. And it was a hard extraction to get that HVT out, because they were on top of us. They didn't slow down. They pushed hard to get to us. And I will say they did a pretty good job getting to us, because we had a tough time getting them out.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and then it was index, Friday night done.
Jump into Saturday. Getting forward, dropped in.
Yep.
I want to shout out to Bushwookie Airsoft. It was great partnering up with you guys, being able to be out there with you. Big shout out to that.
Yeah, we had our safety brief at 10?
Yeah.
10. Game on at 10:30. We didn't stop until
you walked off the field.
Till 1600, I think, is when we finally called index for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Just to let everybody do some R&R, get some water.
Yeah.
Because it was hot. And then we went right back out to it for the night game, the night portion of the game. The mosquitoes were terrible.
Oh, yeah. So, real quick, before we get too far into this, I really want to say that the way things were handled between the NPCs, the admins, and Freddie, the response time on anything detrimental, heat casualties, anything medically, the response time on you guys was incredible. It's great to see a highly trained people to get in, step up, do what they needed to do, to then get the people off that needed to be off.
Yeah.
I know you had a few, but even with the heat and everything else, we had such a low count of heat cats and medical emergencies.
Yeah, we really did. For the temperature that it was, with the humidity at what it was, which was 100% every day.
Yeah.
And 95 degrees, only having
a handful.
Not even a handful.
Yeah.
You could count it on one hand how many heat cats we had.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's unheard of for any event.
Yeah, because normally you have a few.
Yeah, we had water stationed at every respawn. So that way, there was always water available.
Yep.
we wanted to make sure you guys stayed hydrated, stayed healthy. The NPCs were around the zones the entire time, checking up on people.
Mm-hmm.
It's a game of watching the player, right? To notice those signs, and a lot of us have been trained in those signs.
Yeah.
And it's not hard to tell.
No. You can get some good medical classes in.
Yeah.
You can do the exact same thing.
We
right?
had one volunteer medic. Dude was great.
Response time was impeccable.
Oh yeah, he had a little side-by-side. The second we got the call, everybody stopped. And that's a good indicator for all the players. You know, everybody stopped. There wasn't BBs still flying, there wasn't grenades flying, there was nothing.
Right.
Everybody stopped.
And they even called blind man on it too.
And they had a blind man call across the entire field, including the helo.
Yeah.
Everybody stopped.
That medic did really well, especially with the helo being over top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very fast. Nobody was seriously injured.
No.
And
the one that went out came back the next day. He was ready.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he couldn't. But it was the point that he still, even after he came back.
We had a great time. Freddie organized an amazing event.
Yeah.
It was a lot on one person, but him and his wife did amazing.
Yeah, big shout out to them.
Him and his crew that went out prior, amazing. They did an amazing job on the entire field. The way that they placed cars everywhere just to create some places for cover, in the wide open. Because in the wide open areas, there isn't anywhere for cover. You'd have to go into the sides, so Freddie created those spaces for us. He created the spaces for the players to enjoy the game.
Yep. And I can honestly say that I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was very enjoyable, and I know a lot of people out there are still very tired from it.
Oh, man.
We're 1 week in, and...
I'm exhausted.
Yep, still tired, right? The heat will take it out of you, but it was well worth it.
Oh, yeah. And big shout out to DEO on the clown. Mr. Papa over there.
Oh.
Man. Strolling down the town.
He had that outfit down.
Yeah.
With his stroller and the minigun in the stroller.
Yep.
Yeah.
His children.
Yeah, you never knew what was going to happen if you shot at his balloons.
Yeah.
And then you found out. Found out real quick.
And if you shot at the NPCs, you didn't know what you were going to do.
You were going to get shot
fact.
at. Yeah.
Especially since it took everything to kill you.
Well, hey. We were told we were basically juggernauts. But we still took one hit. We disengaged from the situation.
Yep.
And, the game never stopped moving.
No. I can also say that.
That was our objective as NPCs, was to ensure flow of game. So if we had to step in and fight, we had to step in and fight. But we just didn't have to pull dead rags, right? We just disengaged from the situation. So I'd throw my hand up to signal that I was hit. I acknowledged that I was hit, and then I would disengage the situation.
Yep.
I'd put my gun down and I'd walk away.
Yep.
And that was great. I know a lot of the NPC guys had a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
All the VFA guys, we all had a lot of fun out there playing.
This was definitely not a one-sided event. This was all sides taken care of and given the ability to do what was necessary to get things done.
Yep.
You had objectives, you had roles, and everybody precisely to the T got it done.
Yep. Every zone had objectives in it to get to. You just had to find them because they were hidden.
Yep.
But every zone had objectives, and it was great watching everybody play. I don't think anybody had any negatives about the event, and that's unheard of for over 600 players.
Yeah, everybody has their little gripes, right? This and that.
Everybody's going to have a gripe.
There was not a serious complaint about this event.
No. Everybody had a grand time. Everybody left that event wanting to know what was next.
Absolutely. They wanted the pictures. They wanted to know what was
everybody
next.
wanted pictures, and, if you haven't seen the pictures, definitely go and look at the pictures. It was a great event for Freddie and his organization.
Yes. And I really cannot wait to see what happens next.
Well, hey, Six Flags Over Georgia.
I tried to make that comment today. We'll talk later. Shout out to Freddie for finding an impeccable AO. We are truly grateful for what you guys have done as an organization, as a team. Like I said, being from a civilian background and seeing you guys play, seeing the camaraderie, being a part of you guys, and initially just loving every bit of it.
Yeah, Freddie's out here creating that once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Yeah.
You know, out of those 600, there's 600 people that can say that they have experienced the battle at Six Flags.
Yeah. And shout out to all the vendors that got to show up.
Oh yeah, there was so many vendors there to show support.
TCA, Wolverine, Airsoft Junkies, Cherub,
Redline
Lori
was out there.
We really appreciate Lori. Lori made some great custom stuff for us.
Yeah, Russell Customs was out there. He had a great gun to give away.
Yeah, Poppin' Patches.
Yeah, Poppin' Patches, Tacticool.
Yeah.
He was out there.
SFH.
Yeah, everybody.
And Bushwookie. Every one of you guys showed up, showed out, paid for that helo gas.
Yeah.
But without you guys, this would have never turned out to be what it is.
Yeah, Stryker, out there selling BBs, selling
I'm sure
sights,
they sold out.
Radios.
I love that radio.
Oh, I do. That was a great investment. It's a great radio. If you guys haven't seen the new Stryker, UV25, go check it out.
Yeah.
It's a great piece of equipment to have.
Yep, and it all programs right off of the same UV5R programming cable, so that's awesome. Being a ham radio operator, I had to investigate that because, I'm just that type of person.
You got to check it out, right? See what kind of features is on it.
Oh, yeah, because manually doing it only gives you the basics to make it work.
Pretty sure he even said it's Bluetooth.
I don't know if it's Bluetooth, but we'll find that out once I get it
we'll
plugged
look at it.
So, no, big shout out to everybody that showed up on Vendor Row. Shout out to all the NPCs, admins.
All the players that showed up.
All the players, all the footage.
If it wasn't for the players, that wouldn't have been a great event.
Oh, absolutely. Great set of people.
It was a great player base.
Yeah.
You guys created the experience that you had. Everybody's going to have their own experience, right?
They did.
But everybody created a great experience for themselves.
Yep.
Because of the AO and the experience and sets that Freddie had set out.
Yes.
He created the place. The players created the experience.
Absolutely. And this is something that's truly gone down in history.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
The people that, let's be honest, how many people do you have right now on your team that have the shirt, I got to play at Six Flags?
Oh, yeah.
I know I did.
Or the Battle at Six Flags patch.
Oh. Or I survived the Chrono line. I think I was the first initial people to get that one.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to Lori for that. She found it on Facebook, created it on the spot.
Yeah, if you guys don't have that patch and you want it, go check out Lori Creations.
Yep. You guys need Milsim tourniquets?
Watson Creations.
Watson Creations.
Yep.
Yep.
She was out there. She creates custom Milsim tourniquets.
Dead rags.
Custom dead rags. She even creates slings.
And shirts.
Yep.
So, she does a lot. She's doing a lot for the Airsoft community.
By herself, too.
Absolutely, which is a struggle in itself. Look at Freddie.
She does it herself, Big shout out to everybody that came out, showed up.
Mm-hmm. The fact that you guys didn't destroy anything. You have your few that were,
Yeah, that wanted to play around with the vehicles, but...
Play around with the vehicles, shoot at lights. There's some things you have those people.
Yeah, there's always going to be one.
For 600 people, we really appreciate the fact that no matter the fact that it was being demolished, you guys still took care of it like it was a real place. And that's very grateful for...
It's, as an NPC, I got to walk around the whole field all the time. And there wasn't trash laying everywhere.
Right.
There wasn't just things laying around, things broken. The place was obviously falling apart.
But
it was still was taken care of the entire time that we were out there.
The only thing that should have been on that ground was those millions and millions of BBs.
There was a lot of BBs.
And I know I shot about 7,000 of them. So
there was a lot of BBs out there.
Yeah. Shout out to that. You guys got kinetic with it. You guys did it in a very well manner, and I'll be honest, any one of y'all that show up to an AO, I'd be right there with you.
Oh yeah. So we want to say thank you to Veterans for Airsoft.
Thank you for Striker,
our partners at Airsoft Network.
and everybody else that showed up.
Yeah, all the players that showed up. Thank you guys, the vendors.
Because without you guys, this would never have been possible.
Yeah, you guys created it.
And we wouldn't have been able to talk about it.
That's right. So it was a great experience, a great time. Everybody loved it. Let's wait and see what's next.
I can't wait.
Can't wait. So, as always, love what you do.
And do what you love.
Good night.